Hi, I missed yesterday's session. You told me that you leveled up. What kind of question you got from? I forgot. I missed the person.
You could go on YouTube or Facebook, and it's there.
Oh, I see.
They recorded it, and I'm sure it's been posted.
Oh, wow.
And you can go. Yeah, I have 200 talks posted on YouTube and Facebook.
Oh.
Which are completely available to people.
Just so click your name, then YouTube popping up.
You just
oh,
click,
wow. I didn't know.
My name in there and then put yesterday's date, I guess, you know? And it'll come up. And you'll be able to hear it. Along with 200 others if you have time to listen.
Ah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, I'll ask this, even though it seems like you've talked about it a lot. However, really being able to maintain focus at the third chakra, what is the secret sauce for really not just keep popping out, you know, attention-wise?
You know, the answer is very simple, you know. I mean, it's training. How do you master piano? You have to be trained. You have to work at it, you know, and and it takes time to learn how to master these things. And this one in particular, we're conditioned from the earliest periods of our life to spend all our time in our heads. And you have to literally recondition yourself through practice and practice. I always, you know, use the example. I once went to a concert at Carnegie Hall, and I think it was Vladimir Horowitz or some really great pianist. He put one finger on one note, and the whole concert hall just filled up with music. And I said to myself, how the hell does he do that? It's 9 hours a day of mastering the craft, developing his talent, working at it, getting the discipline, focus. This is no different. Not that you have to do this 9 hours a day, but it's coming to classes, it's working half hour, you know, once or twice on your own. And it's over time, you develop that capacity. You completely recondition your mind, your body, your emotions to function that way. When they talk about working on oneself, this is what they should be talking about. Reconditioning the entire way that we function almost after the day we were born. So it takes time to do this. It takes work to do this. I used to, you know, look, I spent a lot of time with Rudy years ago. I was very fortunate that he really enabled me to be around him quite a bit. And he was always working on himself. I mean, I've had 3 meditation classes already today. You know, yesterday, I don't know how many I had. I mean, it was like all day long, meditation class after. So what I'm saying is that this is practice, it's work on oneself to completely recondition yourself so that your mind does stay centered in the chakra below the navel. And if it bounces out, you know how to bring it back. And, you know, perfection is in the realm of the gods. Human beings are not perfect creatures, so there's always going to be things that go wrong in anything we try to do. But part of the learning process is to accept the imperfections and know how to fix them. Know how to not allow them to really, you know, get the best of us. So the only answer I have to that question is an answer I give a lot to people. I mean, I get people all the time with, I had a Kundalini experience, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and I don't know what to do about it, and blah, blah, blah. But they never, they never ask, how do I get training? How do I learn how to master my inner life so I can activate Kundalini and truly get the best benefits from that experience? I can't remember one person who's come to me like that. And I can't, there must have been 1,000 of them in my life. Whoever asked me, can you, I had one guy come to me, tell me this stuff, this is like a week or two ago. And I said, well, you got to find a teacher. So he said to me, do you know where I can find one? Just cracked me up. I said, well, you can look in the phone book, for God's sake. I am in the yellow pages, go to Google, you'll find, but it's extraordinary. And it was like me sitting in Rudy's gallery, and people would come in and can I help you with something? The greatest master of Kundalini yoga of the 20th century is asking somebody, can I help you with something? And the person says, I'm just looking. To me, it was a metaphor to exactly the way most of the human race lives. They're just looking. They can't see what's in front of them. They can't go to the place where they're going to get training, where they're going to learn how to master the mind so that the mind stays focused in the hara. And the mind becomes a surgical instrument that opens the very core of your being and gives you the strength to receive the energy of God, to live in the world, to activate Kundalini. But this takes training. And I'm not saying this is easy to do, it's not. So I don't know another answer to that. I wish there was a shortcut, but frankly, that's the shortcut. That really is the shortcut. Everything else just takes you to. And that's in anything. If you want to be a doctor, you got to get training. If you want to be a lawyer, you got to get training. If you want to be an athlete, you got to get training. I mean, people that play tennis, they probably practice 8-10 hours a day, developing their craft, especially, the ones that play in these professional tournaments. Ask dancers how much training they need in order to put on a performance, to dance. Staggering. And, having a spiritual life is harder than all of those things. So it requires that discipline, that reconditioning of your inner life. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. And just to finish that, we're very good at procrastination. We are masters of putting everything off for some time in the future instead of doing it. It's like Nike, their big ad, just do it. It's really true. Just do it. Don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. Really take yourself in hand and say, I got to get training. I got to do this. I have to learn how to master myself. And then have patience, because from point A to point B it's a very big step. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, I had the most extraordinary thing happen today. I couldn't believe this. I got a phone call from a cousin of mine that I haven't seen since I'm 9 years old. I thought it was just staggering, you know, and we had a great conversation. It was like we had known each other all these, you know, but it was an amazing thing, you know, to think. And he went to Google looking me up and found me, and he said, "My God, what a life you've had. Extraordinary things you've been through in your life and done." And then we spent about 20 minutes talking. It was an amazing situation. But to think, last time I saw him, I was 9 years old. And what has transpired since my 9th birthday to today, oh my God. It's like a story out of, you know, Homer's Ulysses, you know, Odysseus. But it also is a very good reminder to me of what one can do with their time, you know? And how time passes. And time is a very good friend if you use it consciously. And time is a very strange enemy if you don't use it consciously. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask?
Stuart, on the heels of that, could you talk about if you've experienced where it felt like a lot of time went by and really it was short amount of time, or the reverse of that? You think it's really quick? And
I can tell you that that's the story of my life. A lot of time. You know, I was 9 years old when I saw this guy. A lot of time has gone by, and it felt like the blinking of an eye. But when you know, if you painted by numbers and filled in all of the things that took place in that period of time, it's staggering. And yet at the same time, it feels like it was the blinking of an eye. That's how fast life goes by. At the same time, it feels like an eternity if you use it in a conscious way. But what you asked is, you know, basically what's happened to me, what's happened to probably everybody sitting here. When we have retreats, you know, those weekends are like timeless. They feel like forever. And at the same time, you know, when it's over with, it feels like it was the blinking of an eye. Does anyone else have a question? Time is a very precious gift that we as human beings have to learn to use consciously and never take for granted. So I always kid around and tell people the only contract I'll sign with anything is I'll guarantee that everybody gets older. It's what we do at the time that truly determines how evolved our consciousness becomes. And I don't mean sitting and meditating 24 hours. That's not what I'm talking about. But you got to meditate. You got to work on yourself every day, a half hour, come to meditation classes, you know, and work on yourself. And then the rest of the day is time that can be used creatively. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask? And literally, to finish this up, above everything else, it's really learning how to enjoy oneself. To just accept that we all can be happy people, we can love life, we can find, the great mystery and the great sacredness of life. And we can see that everything that exists around us is a manifestation of God. It makes everything sacred. And if we stop beating ourselves up and stop spending so much time in our emotions and mind, we can see the sacred nature of everything. We can see how profound life is and what life really has to teach us. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay. There'll be a meditation on Wednesday, and I hope to see everybody there. God bless you all. And as I always say, it's a blessing for me to be here. It's a blessing for me to answer people's questions because, those questions often take me to another level in my own life. There are things that I have to hear. And in all humility, I have a lot of gratitude for all of you. Your presence here has really enabled me to grow enormously. And I have nothing but great thanks and humility, that we all can come together like this and share this kind of energy. So bless you all. Have a wonderful evening, and hopefully I'll see everybody on Wednesday. God bless you.
Stuart, thank you.
All right, Stuart.
Thank you so much, Stuart. Have a good night.
All right, thank you.
Good night.